Hook open on black. Narrator VO. What would you do if a doctor handed you 3 months to live? Most people would think about goodbyes, about loose ends, about the people they love. I thought about all of those things, but I also thought about who showed up and why. Scene: doctor's office day. Grandma Eleanor, 68, sits in a sterile consultation room. The doctor, young, careful with his words, slides a folder across the desk. Eleanor does not reach for it immediately. She looks at her hands instead. Drive, Harris, Mrs. Calloway. The scans are conclusive, stage 4. Given the progression, we're estimating 2 to 3 months. I'm so sorry. Eleanor nods slowly. She does not cry. She was a school teacher for 40 years. She learned long ago to absorb difficult information before reacting to it. Eleanor VO, you know what they don't show you in movies. The parking lot after. I sat in my car for 45 minutes. Not crying. Just recalibrating. Your whole future collapses into weeks. And suddenly, every relationship you have looks different. Scene: Eleanor's home, evening. Eleanor calls her son, Daniel, 41. The phone rings 4 times. Daniel, hey mom, kind of in the middle of something. Eleanor, I need to tell you something, Daniel. The doctor's results came back today. Pause. Eleanor, it's not good news. We see Daniel's face fall. Genuine, raw grief. Whatever faults he carries, his love for his mother is real. He drives over within the hour. What we also notice, Daniel is married to Veronica, 39, sharp-featured, efficient, always calculating. She does not come that evening. She sends a text, so sorry to hear, Eleanor. Thinking of you. Eleanor VO, thinking of you. 11 characters and a period. That was Veronica's grief for me. Noted. Scene: Eleanor's kitchen, 2 days later. Eleanor begins making calls. Her lawyer friend, Margaret OSEI, comes over for coffee. They have been friends for 32 years. Margaret, you want to get your affairs in order. That's smart, Elle. Eleanor, I want to understand what I have, and I want to understand who will come for it. Margaret looks at her, a long, knowing look. Margaret, you mean Veronica. Eleanor says nothing. She refills the coffee. Transition plus CTA. Narrator VO, Eleanor had a house, a modest retirement account, and a $200,000 CD she had built over decades of careful saving. She told no one the exact number, but somehow somehow Veronica found out. End of part 1. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss part 2. Narrator VO, in 20 years of marriage, Veronica Calloway had come to Eleanor's home exactly 11 times. I know because Eleanor counted. She is the kind of woman who counts things. In the 2 weeks after the diagnosis, Veronica came every single day. Scene: Eleanor's home Monday through Friday. A montage of sorts. Veronica arriving with casseroles. Veronica cleaning the kitchen without being asked. Veronica sitting beside Eleanor on the couch, one hand over hers, watching old movies. Veronica, you shouldn't be alone so much, Eleanor. I've been thinking, I can work from here 2 days a week, if that's okay with you. Ellen VO, she brought my favorite flowers, ranunculus. I had mentioned them once at a Easter dinner 6 years prior. She remembered. I'll give her that. She did her homework. Scene: Eleanor's garden afternoon. Veronica is helping Eleanor weed the garden. It is unexpectedly pleasant. For a moment, Eleanor allows herself to feel something warm. Veronica, you know, I always admired you. The way you built everything yourself. Daniel talks about how hard you worked. It's an inspiration. Eleanor, Veronica, I just want you to know, whatever time we have, I want to make it beautiful for you. You deserve that, Eleanor. Eleanor pulls a weed. She does not look up. Eleanor VO, she was good. I mean that genuinely, she was very, very good. And if I had been a Woman who needed to be loved that desperately ... It might have worked. Scene, phone call Margaret and Eleanor. Eleanor recounts the change in Veronica's behavior to Margaret. Margaret, how much does she know about the CD? Eleanor, I don't know how she would. Margaret, how much does she know? A long pause. Eleanor, Daniel must have told her. He knew about it from years ago. I told him it was his inheritance. Someday. Margaret dry, someday just got a lot closer. Scene, Eleanor's living room, day 14. Veronica arrives with homemade soup and something else, a folder. She sets the soup on the counter, then holds the folder at her side. Not presenting it yet, just letting Eleanor see it. Veronica, I was going to wait, but I think you deserve honesty. I have something I want to talk to you about, when you're ready. Eleanor VO, when you're ready. The folder sat on my coffee table for 3 days. She left it there, very deliberately, every time she visited. She was timing the ask, waiting for the right emotional temperature. So I made tea, and I let her wait, and I watched her calculate. End of part 2. Comment below. Did you see this coming from the start? Ugh. Narrator VO. The folder had a name on the tab. 3 words. Written in Veronica's neat, deliberate handwriting. Family investment opportunity. Eleanor saw it and felt something crystallize inside her chest. Not anger, clarity. Scene, Eleanor's living room, day 17. Veronica opens the folder on the coffee table. Inside, printed projections, a business summary, highlighted. Figures. Veronica, Daniel has been in talks with a commercial real estate group in Phoenix. The entry point is 200,000. The projected returns over 5 years are, Eleanor, 200,000. Veronica, it's a loan, Eleanor, not a gift. We'd sign whatever you need. A proper document. We'd start. Repayment within 18 months once the first phase. Eleanor, this is Daniel's idea. A flicker across Veronica's face. Veronica, we discussed it together. He's very excited. He didn't want to ask you directly because he didn't want to add to your stress, so Eleanor VO, there it is. He didn't want to ask you, so she would. She had appointed herself the one willing to do the dirty work. In her mind, she was being brave, practical, strategic. She had spent 17 days building a bridge to walk across it with a $200,000 invoice. Scene continued, the congratulations. Eleanor sets down her tea. Eleanor, before I respond to any of this, I want to tell you something I haven't told anyone yet. Something I found out this morning. Veronica leans forward, eyes attentive, concerned. Eleanor, I went in for additional blood work. My regular doctor wanted to compare panels, and there was an anomaly in the original scans. Veronica, what kind of anomaly? Eleanor, the kind that makes them want a second opinion from a specialist next week. Veronica processes this. Then, and this is the moment that Eleanor will carry for the rest of her life. Veronica, not that's wonderful. Eleanor, not I hope it's good news. Just Eleanor VO, 1 syllable, 2 letters. And in those 2 letters I heard everything I needed to know about what Veronica thought of my survival. Scene, Eleanor's phone that night. Eleanor texts Margaret, she said Margaret responds in under a minute, I will draft the promissory note tomorrow. 8%, monthly, installments. She should sign. Eleanor stares at the phone for a long time. Then she types back, make it airtight. End of part 3, would you have signed? Drop your answer below. Ugh. Narrator VO, Margaret Assay had practiced family law for 31 years. She had seen every variation of financial exploitation dressed up as love. When Eleanor called her, she did not hesitate. We're going to do this properly, Margaret said. We're going to do this so that there is absolutely no ambiguity about what was agreed to. Scene, Margaret's home office night. Margaret types. The promissory note takes shape on screen. We see fragments. Principal sum of $200,000 USD. Interest rate of 8% per annum. Monthly installments of $1,819.40. Commencing 30 days from disbursement. No provision for forgiveness upon changed circumstances of either party. Legally binding and enforceable under state contract law. Margaret V.O. I included every clause. Acceleration clause. If she missed 3 payments, the full balance became due immediately. No hardship deferral. No family relationship exception. I made it the kind of document a stranger would sign, because that is what Veronica was. Scene, Eleanor's living room 3 days later. Eleanor slides the document across the coffee table. It is 7 pages long, tabbed with sticky notes at the signature lines. Veronica looks at it. Something changes in her face. Veronica, Eleanor, this is very formal for a family arrangement. Eleanor, I want us both to be protected. You said it was a loan. A loan has a document. Veronica, of course, do we need a lawyer? Eleanor, I had a lawyer review it already. It's fair. It simply says what you told me. 200,000 repaid over time with reasonable interest. Nothing more. Veronica reads. Her eyes move slowly across the page. Eleanor watches them move. Eleanor V.O., she was looking for a way out of it. Looking for language she could object to, clauses she could call unreasonable. But Margaret had been careful. It was a clean, fair, ordinary promissory note. The only thing Veronica could object to was its existence, and she couldn't say that. Scene, the signing. Veronica picks up the pen. She hesitates. Veronica, I'm going to talk to Daniel about this tonight, just 2. Eleanor, of course. Take your time. A long pause. Veronica looks at Eleanor's face. Reads nothing there. Nothing threatening, nothing warm. Just patience. She signs. Eleanor countersigns. Slides 1 copy into an envelope. Places the envelope on the side table with the practiced calm of a woman who has just won something. Eleanor V.O., she signed because she thought I was dying. She thought in 6 to 10 weeks this document would be a formality, something the family would set aside quietly. After the funeral over coffee, the way families handle awkward paperwork. She thought she was signing a prop. She was wrong. End of part 4. The second opinion is tomorrow. Like and subscribe. Part 5 changes everything. Narrator VO, 7 days after the promissory note was signed. Eleanor Calloway sat in the office of Dr. Priya Subramaniam, a diagnostic specialist at a university hospital 40 miles away. Dr. Subramaniam reviewed the original scans for 11 minutes without speaking. Then she looked up. Scene, Drive, Subramaniam's office. Drive, Subramaniam, Mrs. Calloway. I want to be very clear with you because you deserve complete clarity. The mass identified in your original scan, it is not malignant. It is a calcified lymph node. It has likely been there for years, possibly decades. It is benign. You do not have cancer. Eleanor stares at her. Drive, Subramaniam, you are a healthy 68-year-old woman. With reasonable care, there is no reason you shouldn't live another 25 to 30 years. Eleanor VO, I sat in that office for a while, alone with it. 30 years. All the goodbyes I had quietly started composing, cancelled. All the diminishment I had begun accepting, unnecessary. I was going to live, and Veronica had signed a 200,000 promissory note 7 days ago. I will admit to you, I smiled in that parking lot for a very long time. Seen Eleanor's home that evening. Eleanor calls Margaret. Eleanor, it was a misdiagnosis. I'm fine. Margaret, oh thank God. Eleanor, the note is still good. A pause, then Margaret, attorney for 31 years, laughs. Margaret, the note is iron, signed in good faith by a competent adult. Witnessed, dated, it does not. contain any clause making it contingent on your health status. It's a loan, Eleanor. It's just a loan now, Eleanor. Good. Scene, Veronica's reaction the next day. Eleanor calls Daniel and Veronica together. She tells them the news about the misdiagnosis with genuine warmth. She is not performing. She is relieved and grateful. Daniel weeps with happiness. Veronica smiles, hugs Eleanor, says all the right things. But her eyes, just once, very briefly, go to the side table where the envelope had sat. Eleanor VO, she hugged me. And while she was hugging me, I felt her thinking. I felt the math happening behind her ribs. The $200,000 she had signed for, now owed to a woman with 30 years left in her. The monthly installments, the 8%, the acceleration clause. I patted her back gently. I'm so glad I have more time with family, I said. I meant it, just not the way she heard it. End of part 5. Part 6 is the finale. Drop A if you knew this was coming. Ugh. Narrator VO. The first payment was due 30 days after disbursement. Eleanor had transferred the $200,000 to Daniel and Veronica's joint account the morning after the signing. Before the second opinion, exactly as promised, she had committed to the loan. And Eleanor Calloway was a woman who honored her commitments. She expected Veronica to honor hers. Scene, Eleanor's kitchen 30 days later. The first payment arrives on time. $1,819.40. Eleanor logs it in a small leather ledger, the kind school teachers use. She writes the date, the amount, and the running balance in her careful, deliberate handwriting. Eleanor VO, I did not gloat. I want to be clear about that. I was not sitting in a rocking chair cackling. I logged the payment the same way I used to grade papers, methodically, without malice, because accuracy matters. Scene, Veronica's kitchen, 3 months later. Veronica calls Eleanor. Veronica, Eleanor, we need to talk about the loan. The Phoenix deal has been delayed. The permitting processes. Eleanor, the payment is due on the 15th. Veronica, I know, but under the circumstances, I was hoping we could discuss. Eleanor, the note doesn't have a circumstances clause. Margaret was very thorough. Silence. Veronica, Eleanor, you are alive. You are healthy. This loan was made when we thought. Eleanor, when you thought I was dying. Yes, I know when it was made. Veronica, I was there. Longer silence. Eleanor, the payment is due on the 15th. I'll see you Sunday for dinner. She hangs up, logs the call in the margin of the ledger. Scene, the following year's montage. Time passes. Years of it. Eleanor tends her garden, travels to Portugal with Margaret, attends her granddaughter's school play, then her middle school graduation, then her high school graduation. Every 15th of the month, $1,819.40 logged in the ledger, the balance declining slowly, steadily, like water finding its level. The Phoenix deal, it turns out, was always a fiction, or at best a wish. The $200,000 went into Daniel and Veronica's lifestyle, a renovation, a car, private school deposits, the slow hemorrhage of maintaining appearances. Daniel's career does not tank dramatically, it simply stalls. The weight of the monthly payment makes every financial decision tighter, every opportunity harder to reach. He and Veronica fight about it, quietly. At first, then not quietly. Eleanor VO, I want to be honest with you. I did not enjoy watching my son struggle. That part was not satisfying. Daniel was not a bad man. He was a man who had married a woman who saw money as a problem to be solved through other people. That is its own kind of tragedy. Scene, Veronica's final request, year 4. Veronica comes alone. No casserole, no flowers. She sits across from Eleanor in the living room, and she looks, for the first time, genuinely tired. Veronica, I'm asking you to forgive it. The whole thing. We'll give you what we've paid so far and call it even. Eleanor, it's damaging my marriage. It's damaging Daniel. Eleanor looks at her for a long time. Eleanor, you came to my home when I was dying. You were wonderful to me. Kind and warm and present in a way you had never been in 20 years. And then you asked a dying woman for $200,000. Veronica, that's not. Eleanor, you said oh when I told you there might be hope. Do you remember that? Veronica says nothing. Eleanor, I'm not forgiving the note, Veronica. Not because I'm cruel. Because you took advantage of a woman you thought had nothing left to protect herself with. And it turns out she did. She stands, goes to the kitchen, puts the kettle on. Eleanor, tea. Closing narration. Eleanor at 88. Narrator VO. Eleanor Calloway lived to be 88 years old. She outlasted her diagnosis by 20 years. She outlasted Veronica and Daniel's marriage by 9. She filled for leather ledgers, logging every payment in her careful teacher's hand. The loan was paid in full 6 months before Eleanor passed. She left the final paid-off note, stamped, satisfied in red ink by Margaret's law office, in an envelope for Daniel, with a handwritten note inside. Eleanor VO, your mother loved you. She just refused to be taken advantage of. Those two things were never in conflict, Mom. Daniel kept it in his wallet until the day he died. Outro, CTA, narrator VO. If this story taught us anything, it's that a dying woman with a good lawyer friend and 30 years left is not a woman to underestimate. Subscribe for more stories of quiet justice. Like this video if Eleanor earned it. And drop a comment. What would you have done with that promissory note? We'll see you in the next one.